Hi, my name is Chris Barnes, and I'm the Digital Publishing Librarian at Adelphi University Libraries. This year, Open Education Week falls on Monday, March 2nd. In this video, I'll be talking about open educational resources and how to find them. And one of the best ways to celebrate Open Education Week 2026 is to actually attempt to search for and identify some OER that you could assign in your courses. First, though, let's talk about what we mean when we say OER. Open educational resources are teaching, learning, and research materials that are either in the public domain or licensed as open access, which is in a way that allows for the works to be retained by anyone, but also reused, revised, remixed, and redistributed. It's these abilities that allow open educational resources to be customized by faculty members so that they are perfectly suited to the given learning goals and course content of a given semester. In the Open Educational Resources Library Guide, you can find lots of resources on OER, including on this screen, we see the Finding OER tab. Where do I search for OER? And on this page, we have a long list of different search engines and databases that contain open educational resources, which could be suitable to replace commercial ones in your courses. Let's look at a few of them. First, we have the Open Educational Resources Search Index. And this attempts to be a one-stop shop in which you can search very broadly for all the available OER around the world. And you're, of course, able to filter by subject, topic, and type of OER. Next, the Open Research Library also offers a very broad search and divides its content into different categories and themes, as you can see on the screen. Next, the Open Textbook Library from the University of Minnesota is a great resource for those of you who are looking specifically for open textbooks as opposed to workbooks, assignments, or other sorts of educational resources. In the Open Textbook Library, you can browse by subject, and you can also read reviews by faculty members who have actually assigned the given resource. And they evaluate it based upon an extensive rubric provided by the Open Textbook Library. Finally, you can look at OpenStax. OpenStax, unlike the previous three websites, is a publisher of open educational resources. And you can see from the information on the screen that they are committed to saving students as much money as possible and to ensuring equitable access to course materials. OpenStax also offers teacher resources like slides and quiz banks. And so they are often one of the best options for faculty who are just getting into the OER field. And lastly, I'd just like to remind you to consider cost when evaluating required course materials. If students are unable to afford a resource, it's unlikely that they will be able to benefit from it in a timely manner. You also want to assign, wherever possible, library license materials or items from the library's permanent collection. Very frequently, our digital subscriptions and e-resources are great collections that can be used to assign content for your courses. And lastly, you really should do your best to place your book orders by April 1st, by the deadline, because that ensures that students are able to see what materials are assigned before they sign up for a course. And it also enables them to have as much time as possible to find an affordable version. With that, I will thank you for your time and ask you to email me with any questions at the email you see on the screen. Thanks very much and have a great OE week.